Never really imagined going into the season how well it would have gone. Building momentum race by race, and then got to the Bay and it's like, I might actually be able to win this.
Hey guys, before we start this episode, a big shout out to the Southern Slugs Footy Club and their support the last couple of years. They've been amazing. And speaking of the Southern Slugs, there's a big event that's happening over the June long weekend this year. It's over there in Bali. It's called the Bali Masters. So over 35s, over 45s and over 55s men. And the one and only Richard Champion, that ex-AFL legend from the Brisbane Lions, is playing in it. And there'll be a bit of comedy as well from Tommy Seagate, better known as the suburban footballer, of course, a social media sensation. So it's going to be absolutely awesome over there, and we're better to go as well than Bali for a June long weekend. So check out the Southern Slugs Football Club Facebook page for more details. It's going to be an absolute ripper. Well, what an absolute pleasure it is to have Deb Meich and also Joe McKinnon on Sports Legends with Bevo.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Now, Deb, before we get to Joe, you're obviously the coach of Joe, and we saw he won the Bay Sheffield last year, 2023, which is an amazing achievement. Speaking of amazing achievements, you've got some, big news to share as well. Tell us more about that.
Well, I believe that I'm the very first female coach to coach a winner of the Bay Sheffield in its 137-year history, which is pretty good for us girls.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
137 years.
Yeah.
You're the first. That is huge.
That's what I've been told.
That must make you so proud.
I'm extremely proud. It's can be quite overwhelming out at the backtrack with all the coaches, and so it is a good profile for us women to show that we work hard, and so the athletes. I'm extremely proud to be the coach of the Bay Sheffield winner.
Yeah, so you should.
Thank you.
Now, Joe, obviously 2023 Bay Sheffield winner, as we spoke about before, and I was lucky enough to interview you, but I want to get a bit of an understanding. When you're standing there, the gun's about to go, there's that real eerie silence. And what's the feeling like in your, it's the real butterflies in your tummy? Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. A whole lot of nerves going on there. But it was great to have Deb and particularly Ollie, who's another one of my training partners, talking me through it beforehand and telling me it's all about trying to have as much fun as possible. And then I think that helped me to relax and run my best race.
And the feeling afterwards, because like I said, I got to interview you, which was just amazing and such an awesome atmosphere there. And your mates, they had your Joseph, each person had their J and the O and the S and the F. We'll show that photo a bit later on. But what was that feeling like crossing the line first? And was it a bit surreal for you as well?
Yeah. Like it's something you kind of never imagined would happen to you. And to have all my friends there as well. I had no idea they were going to have the letters on them. So that was an amazing feeling.
And then you kind of got lifted up as if you were like a hero that you obviously were, but what was that feeling like as well?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I think I spiked one of my friends that got a big cut on their leg, but very entertaining.
And the night itself, a couple of celebration drinks as well?
Yeah, a bit of that, of course. Yeah, had to celebrate those moments. Yeah,
wonderful. Congratulations. And Deb, we better get to you as well. You had a really big Bay Sheffield. You said you had 8 runners involved over those 2 days, and I think you said 4 made semi-finals. Is that correct?
Yes, 4. It's the most I've ever had make the semi-finals. It's really hard to make the semis, but it's even harder to make a Bay Sheffield final. It's a dream. Yeah.
And you mentioned you had 3, Joe included, you had 3 runners that were running at the exact same time in a semi-final. So it's almost like choosing your favourite child, isn't it? Like, what do you do in that situation? Bit of rock, paper, scissors? Or?
It is. I mean, it's just the draw and how it works out. But I had 3 runners all running in the same semi-final and then one running in a completely separate one. So there was 4 altogether. But you just treat them all exactly the same, give them all the same feedback and just try and keep them calm. On their best race, any one of them could win. And they were all very happy for Joe. So that was really good.
And what was that feeling like, being a coach as well and seeing Joe cross the line? Bit surreal for you?
It's probably something I'll never experience again. It was a surreal moment, and now I know when people say it was surreal, I know that feeling. It was just, there were so many people that take in that moment with you, all the athletes that were around me, other athletes from our club, friends of Joe's, and they were just, it was amazing. It really was amazing. It's kind of a feeling of, is this really happening? And I remember saying to someone, can you pinch me? Because it was that surreal. Like, you dream of this happening, and then when it actually does happen, you think, oh my God, it's true.
And how long have you been involved with the Bay Sheffield, like as a coach?
Probably it would be over 10. But going to the Bay Sheffield, I went as a child. So I've been going there for years and years. I won't say how many years, but a lot of years, because it's an icon and it's part of our history. And there was a lot of people that go down just to support the event as well, which is fantastic.
And have you competed as a runner as well yourself over the years, or?
No, I haven't.
No, but being a coach obviously is the next big thing, or next best thing, I should say. And
it is. I think the event itself, it gives opportunity for people that are maybe not elite at that sport to have an opportunity to win some major events. And that probably, I'd say, would be the case with Joe. He's a very, very good runner, but maybe out at the track for an open men's, it would be really hard for him to win or have that acknowledgement, because we're talking runners that are really off to the Olympic Games that he's against, because he's an open athlete. So just to have that opportunity to win at a high level and also race against Olympians, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, and obviously there's been so many legends over the years that have won Bay Sheffield, so that's put you right up there, Joe.
Yeah, it's amazing to be among them and have your name on one of the pavers as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I spoke about it before at the start. You had a big 2023. You won 4 races before winning the Bay Sheffield, and a lot of them were over different distances as well. Tell us more about your 2023, and would you say that's been your best year yet so far? Or?
Yeah, definitely. No doubt about that. I sort of never really imagined going into the season how well it would have gone, like sort of just building momentum race by race, and then got to the Bay and was like, I might actually be able to win this. So yeah, it's very cool.
And how long have you been working alongside Deb for?
I think this is our 3rd season together now.
It is.
Yeah.
And how does it work that you get connected? How does that sort of come about?
So it was through my old coach, who was taking a break from coaching, sort of put me in touch with Deb, and yeah, it's been a good match, I reckon.
I was very lucky. His old coach was taking a little bit of a step back, and there was a few of them that came over into my squad. I wasn't really looking at taking on any athletes at that time, but once I met the group and the athletes, they just fit. They fit with the rest of the squad, and it worked really, really well. But it wasn't any surprise to me that Joe's done so well in the beginning of the end of the 2023 season, because he has been training amazingly, like a real step up. We did change his training this season as compared to other seasons, and he is running differently. So, yeah.
Will he be competing in the 2024 stall as well? Or, yeah?
Yep. That's the plan. Looking forward to it. It's always a good one to be a part of.
Yeah, so for the people that are listening or watching at home, I've heard that the stall's an even bigger event than what the Bay Sheffield is. Yeah, explain to us a bit more about the stall, how that all works.
Incredible atmosphere, like heaps of people always coming along, and the best of the best as well. Like, you get people running off right at the back markers and running people down, so it's always cool to watch.
And will you just be doing the 120, or you do other events as well?
Probably the 400 as well.
400 as well. Fantastic. What's your preferred distance?
It's never fun to run a 400. There's always a whole lot of lactic acid, but it's probably my best distance. Yeah.
And Deb, your own sort of personal running journey, tell us more about that. You mentioned before you've been a coach for a while now, but when did you first get into running, and how'd you get into it? And then, how'd you sort of get involved in the coaching side of things too?
Well, I started as a little athlete. From Little Athletics, went into the senior club at Western Athletics Club, and then left after many years to start my family and that family journey. And then my kids started back at athletics, and you go along and there was just not enough coaches. And took the gumption to think, oh, well, I'll give this a bit of a go. And I just loved it. And I think it's like a sponge. When you see someone improve and you see their enjoyment, it's something that you get addicted to and you just want to help and try and work out how you can make them improve. And then through many years at the Little Athletics Club, my kids then moved on to seniors. And then very soon after that, I started my own personal squad. So I've been coaching for, I would say, close to 30 years. I had a personal squad for nearly 20 years. And it's a fulfillment that I would recommend anybody that's thinking about getting into coaching, because it is a fantastic give back. In fact, my give back now, I'm trying to step back from a lot of things that I do. But one of the things that I'm trying to do is give back. So I actually run all the level 1 through Athletics Australia. So any new coaches that start, they usually come through and do a level 1 with me, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's teaching coaches to coach.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what's your approach generally with your coaching? Like, you come across like a pretty laid back sort of lady, or is there a bit of a hard side to you as well?
Well, I think to be successful as a squad coach, the squad need to get along. And for that, you need to have everybody working together, but also it's about making sure that they're having fun. So we try and do a mix of working hard. They work so hard. And because they work so hard, I feel like I need to put in and put as much work in as I can. But also we have social things where we go out to dinner or bowling or do some crazy things. And that just keeps that interest and social side as well. And I think because of that, the longevity of the group and staying together works really well.
Have you had sort of success stories? Obviously, Joe's one of those, but any of your athletes in the past that have gone on to bigger and better things and made the Olympics or Commonwealth Games?
Well, there's been a lot of national athletes and a lot of national medals. I've got a predominantly jumps sprints group. I have had some success with quite a few of my jumpers, and we've got some great 400 metre runners. So just over the years that, you're just lucky enough to come across some amazing athletes, but I still get the enjoyment of working with the developing athletes as well. It's just to see them and be able to tweak some of the things that they're doing and then get the PBs. It gets harder as they reach their peak in getting those PBs. So it's about living in the moment and enjoying the journey.
And from your own perspective, Joe, what makes Deb such a great coach?
There's a lot of things that make her a great coach.
Oh,
Incredibly,
I paid him to say that.
Incredibly hardworking. She puts and massive attention to detail as well. All the incredibly detailed programs she puts together, the little technical tips that you pick up along the way as well. Yeah, it's amazing.
And when did you first start running, and how did you get into it? What was your influence?
So I sort of started off with soccer and other team sports, and I started off running in under 9s, probably just because it was something I was good at. I started off at the beach and found a bit of success there through surf lifesaving, and sort of just been building ever since. Yeah.
And going forward, what's your 2024 look like? You mentioned before you got stalled. Mm-hmm. What else is ahead for 2024?
Another big race in South Australia is the Camden Classic in a week and a bit now. So that's 400 metres. Yeah, so looking at that, and then probably surf lifesaving nationals as well.
Okay. Yeah. What's the surf lifesaving involve?
So there's 2 main events on the beach. I don't do a lot of the water stuff. So the beach sprint's 90 metres. That's probably my best event, and the beach flags as well.
And which club do you represent?
Seacliff. Yeah, they're
great.
one of the stronger clubs in SA. So
beautiful part of the world.
There. Yeah.
And how does it compare with running? We spoke about this off air before. Like, I've done some runs on the sand, and it's so tough on your cast. But how does it compare running on the sand versus running on grass?
Very different. It takes a bit of getting used to, but I've done it since I was 9. So yeah. Think I'm used to it now. But actually the female Bay Sheffield winner, we were at an interstate competition a few weeks ago, Julia Phillips, and we both won the interstates sprint, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, fantastic. Same as the Bay Chef.
Yeah.
Good.
Exactly.
And going forward, what's the plan? So you're obviously going to do the Bay again this year and try to go back to back?
Yeah, that would be incredible. Don't think many people have done that before. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Do you think they make it too hard? And maybe ask Deb this question. Do you think it's like it's almost too difficult now to go back to back? We saw with Michael this year, and he didn't make the final. So
It is really hard. It's all worked out on handicaps, and there's lots of rules that go on behind the scenes with regards to handicaps. And what they try and do is make it fair for everybody and give everybody an opportunity to win. So for Joe, he probably gets some sort of penalty, I would think, because he's won a big race. So it's about him running even better. So coming into the Bay, he was running really, really well, but he actually needed to run 3 of the races of his life at PB level to make the Bay and win the final. And he did that. So be able to back up. And I think a lot of that had to do with the training that he had been doing, but also his sand running. So he is really, really strong. His running over the sand puts him in good stead on grass. People were astounded how he can run so well on sand and beat some of the top Australian athletes, which is just fantastic.
And who are some of the other athletes that are part of your squad to watch out for this year, Deb?
Oh, we've got Hayden Petherick, who is also running in the 400. He's been training really well and running really hard, and he's also podiumed at every event that he's run in. He hasn't got a sash, so that's a really big goal of his, and his goal for the whole year was to run well at Camden, which is in a week. Ollie's running really well at the moment too. Got a couple of twin Blisnos. They're actually running in Melbourne at the moment because they're doing some study research over there. They'll be back actually very soon in February, but they're running quite well as well. They're working with another coach that's helping me out. But there is quite a few.
Yeah, star-studded squad.
I don't know about that, but they're just putting in the hard effort, and they turn up every week, put in the effort.
And you're purely going to focus now on your running. You mentioned before you played soccer and other sports as a kid. You're not going to go off and play footy or anything like that?
No, running's definitely my main sport now, and always good to have some success. Definitely keeps me interested.
Olympics and the Commonwealth Games a goal in the future, or?
That would be incredible, but a lot of improvement to get there. Probably not at the standard, but be very cool to get there.
Oh, you're only young, so you've still got plenty of years, and you've got a great coach in your corner as well.
Exactly.
So, what do you think, Deb, Joe has to do to improve to kind of get up to that level where he's competing at Olympic level?
Well, there's no question about his dedication and training, and he doesn't miss a session. All the things that you would, want in an athlete, Joe, but the squad are very dedicated because they work so tightly together and they compete against each other as well. Yeah, I think it's hard because, it's just continuing to chip away. That's the only thing I can say. It's that keep putting in the hard yards, and with a little bit of luck, they could win a Bay Sheffield.
Yeah. And what's the plans going forward for yourself with your coaching?
Well, this year, for the first year, I've taken on a second coach to help me out because it is a big squad and I feel like I can't give them independent one-on-one time. So to do that, Brett Fisk has come on board and he's just been fantastic. And he's done a lot of work with Joe with some block starts and things like that. It allows me to spend a bit of time with the jumpers. So it kind of works really nicely. I write all the programs, but Brett's there to support it. So he's got a lot of experience with running. So he's a very good athlete himself, coming off a state champion 800 metre runner. Yeah.
And do you have someone yourself, like a mentor that you refer to with your coaching as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't do it. I've got a really good, tight network of fantastic coaches that I network with. I can pick up the phone at any time and talk to them, and I do, and they do. Tony Checker, Adam Dedek. So there's quite a few, even interstate coaches that we get together, and I do a little bit of networking for Joe's beach side as well. It's not my forte, so you just got to do the research, talk to people about what's working, what's not working, and then work out what works with Joe. So he takes like a duck to water of most things, so he's very easy to coach.
And how many sessions, Joe, would you have a week at the moment, like with Deb?
So we usually do about 3 running sessions, then maybe a couple of gym sessions as well. So yeah, quite busy, but it's good fun with a good group and good coach around me.
And how the heck do you balance that with a full-time job? Congratulations on a new job, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, you sort of just got to embrace it. There's always a bit of time after work. So yeah, head down to training and have some fun there.
And before we let you go as well, I always like to ask this question. What's your go-to meal after you've finished a race?
That's a good question. I love a good Macca's hash brown.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, Deb Meich and Joe McKinnon, thanks so much for coming on Sports Legends with Bevo. Congratulations again to both of you on a very successful Bay Sheffield, and all the very best for 2024.
Thank
you very much.